Hello, we're here today with another model, and Terry is my great model today. You can see this baby fine hair. We're going to give her a great look today. With hair this baby fine, I don't want to put a lot of layering in her hair. It'll just make it look skimpier or thinner. So what's going to really be ideal for Terry is to give her a really nice, solid, blunt shape on the bottom. That way her hanging length will automatically look thicker and she'll have more body and volume at the roots. You see, even so many times with this baby fine hair, the sides are what's the wispiest or the thinner part, and this neckline or this hair through the back is your thicker, heavier hair. So what this is really going to do is it's going to rearrange Terry's hair. It's going to make her look not so heavy in the back, and it's going to really make these sides look thicker and fuller. And the best thing too, when you look at a shaped face, and especially when you have hair this baby fine, you've got to take in consideration her shaped face. You go with her skin color and her eye for her hair color, because that really can either go with it or, play it up or make it not a good thing. So really take a good look at the eye color. See if they're warm tones or cool tones. She's got these very blue eyes, which are really cool. And even in her skin, she's fair-skinned, so I would go with a little cooler blonde. I wouldn't put a lot of warmth in her hair. Saying that, I would definitely go in and add some highlights in here. You can see the ends are so blonde. She's almost more solid blonde towards the end, and we like it light around the face. That's where she's the lightest at naturally, but I do want to incorporate some darker blonde and keep it cool at the roots. That way she doesn't look solid, but we can really play up the front, really make it blonder there, keep it lighter where she's naturally lighter. And that way, she'll be low maintenance when it grows out. And look, she's got these great eyes, good skin, even her shaped face. To me, when I look at Terry, your shaped face is an oval. You're the widest right here. Your forehead is narrower and your chin is narrower. And saying that, an oval is the ideal shape. So this shape can really wear anything. But too, you have to keep in mind the texture of the hair. I don't want to layer her hair very short, because then it'll really look like she has none. We want to make this hair look thicker and fuller, and having this mid-length, having it right here under the jaw, brushing the neck right here at the collarbone, is going to be very flattering and very feminine. And still being one length, she'll still have options of showing curl or wave in the hair, or going really smooth, or still even having the hair to pull back or pull up. So it's not limiting. But what I want to do first, I do want to put her color in. And I'm going to do, you can see this natural fall. I'm going to go with that. Keep that blonde right at that part around the face, even in the front of the ear here. Not so blonde there. Keep that a little darker, but keep the temples, keep that blonde around the face. So we're going to put the highlights in first. And the color that I'm going to use for that is our blue lightener, and it's mixed with 20 volume, so it gives a good lift. It's not hard on the hair. It's very gentle. So the blue lightener gives it a cooler blonde. So we like that whiter blonde. What I really want to do is see where this neckline, this hairline is. You can see where that hair wants to fall. We're going to keep that in mind, let it fall there. And actually in this neck, on the neckline, I'm not going to highlight the very bottom. We want to keep that a little deeper on the underneath. Terry is probably a level 7, dark blonde, light brown, with lots of gray in here. Maybe 50% gray, Terry. You're about halfway there. And the good thing is a lot of her white is around the face, and that's where we want to keep the hair lighter anyway. So we'll just play that up and have that blonde, that gray look blonder. So I'm going to start right here. You can see I'm right at the nape, at the back of her head, right where her head rounds. So we're at the top of that. And that's like the top of the ear there. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to clip this up. We're going to go in. I'm going to weave a few blonde pieces. Really big weave here, because we want this. We want less streaks but bigger pieces. So that way you'll have a little more defined streak in the hair. You'll have less streaks that looks, because the more tiny ones you squeeze in there, then the more solid it looks. And that's what we don't want. We want the opposite. We want some bolder streaks and then some darkness underneath. The color I'm going to use on her roots is an 8C, which is a medium cool blonde, and I've used 20 volume. I've mixed it with 20 volume, so that will give good coverage on this white hair, and it'll tone some of this gold in the hair. She has a little bit, but it'll keep it maybe a shade darker than it is now, so you'll have a good contrast against the highlights and the base color. What I want to do with her haircut, after we process this color, I'm going to give Terry a haircut, and I'm basically going to do it maybe in 2 cuts. And I'm going to use my sharktooth razor. You know, a lot of people are scared, are just afraid of cutting with the razor on baby fine hair, but it all has to do with the shape that you're doing, because you can remove a lot of hair, or you can remove a little bit of hair. You can give a blunt cut, or you can do lots of ragged edges from the razor. What I'm going to do with her is when I converge it all and cut it in once, it'll be a solid shape, but it'll have softness on the ends, so it'll have more movement on the ends. It gives it just a little raggedness, so those edges just have a little more body and movement to them. So the razor is ideal even for cutting a bob. If you're cutting this blunt bob, you're going to be amazed at the effect you get using the razor. And 2, because we want to make this front of her hair look longer, we're not going to touch the front. We're going to make that look twice as long by where we're cutting the hair at. And it's going to come off of this back. Moving right along here, putting a few more thicker strands in the foil. We want these a little bolder, even on this underneath. She's got a little natural wave in the hair, which is kind of nice because that plumps it up, especially when some of this weight comes off of it. She could let her hair dry and have that beachy, wavy look where it's just very tousled and just undone, which is kind of nice when you do have a little wave in the hair. You can see I'm going right up here in the crown, taking a big section there, 3 big pieces, because we want this a little bolder. We want this to show up just a little more exaggerated. And 2, with the way that her hair grows, Terry's hair grows very fast, so this will be an easy grow out, low maintenance, adding the light and the dark together. And especially keeping it blonder around her face, where her whiter hair comes in, just blends better. Taking a bigger piece right here. And once I get the foils in, I will paint the hair around the foils and let that process all together. So it's nice, these highlights have a head start here. See, some of these ends I'm leaving out just where they're so blonde and a little more fragile. I don't want to lighten those again. They've already been lightened and they're really a pretty color. So now I'm working my way right up here to the crown. You can see where I'm at now at the very top. I'm going to weave just some big pieces, nice wide pieces, so these are a little bolder. This will come up nice and blonde with this 20 volume. You see my blue lightener is nice cool tones. And this just plumps the hair up. Color just gives the hair so much body and shine. Terry's hair will actually be almost healthier and shinier after this color. It just responds to it. Now we've got the back done. The back around to the front here, and you can see I'm going to let that fall there and let that fall there. And we're going to put in the sides. And that top layer will be our last section. I'm going to go right up here. I'm going right up here to the temple because I don't want to make this so light. This is the hair that really is the finest part of Terry's hair, so I'm leaving that out. And even with the medium cool blonde, this will be just a shade darker, but I'm having lots of blonde above it, Terry. So right at your eyes and at your part on the top is where you can be lighter at. Going kind of at an angle there, leaving that little tip out because we don't want to over-process that. Fold that foil up in there. When this hair is so sparse on the sides, I like leaving length here because when it falls around the face, this is where you want the hair to look thicker and fuller, is around the face. And by cutting that back shorter on the underneath, it really gives it a completely different shape without removing a lot of hair. Another thick section weaved out. See the little tips? I don't want to over bleach that, so I'm leaving that out. Folding that up, and you can see it right there's her part. And underneath it, we're going to go to this side. We're moving pretty quickly here. Once I get all the foils in, I'll apply her base color, and I'll set that timer for 20 minutes. We'll peek at it at 20. Another little wide section right here at the hairline, right here. Taking that nice and thick and brushing it on well. I like using this knife because I have a little more control over it for me. I can get right to the scalp. I don't oversaturate the section where it seeps out or spots the hair. So I like it because it's a little firmer, a little stiffer, using the the knife instead of a brush. And picking up, I actually pick up the color with the knife, apply it to the foil, put the foil up here, it moves really quick. I've got my fingers right at her roots, brushing the color on with the knife, so it really is quick for me. And you see, I'm leaving those little tips out because I know what's going to happen on those. They'll come out nice and light and blend right in. Fold that up nicely. One more slice right here. I'm staying away from her crown and going right at the root here at the front of the hairline. And another one here. Already, I think I love the ombre look. It's whatever you tend to like on the hair. Terry's hair is baby fine as it is, almost had that ombre look because the ends were so blonde and it made them disappear. It made them very sparse looking. We want to make that hair look thicker, not thinner. So not painting these roots and leaving, not painting the ends and leaving those out because they've got good blonde is enough. Now I'm going right at an angle right here. I'm going to weave out a thick section, a thick weave right there at the hairline. Grabbing the foil with the color, put it on there. Tilt your head down a little bit for me, Terry. You can see that's a nice thick piece right here. That's going to be right at her part, right at her hairline. Brushing it on, and look how fragile those ends are. Nice and blonde. Leaving that out. This is my little section I have left right here. So I'm going to work my way back. Same type of weaving. Nice thick strands. You see how nice and big that is. Doing it that way, they're going to show up nicely in this one length hair without looking solid. I'll be able to paint this medium ash blonde in between and give her that contrast she needs without being drastic. Folding that up nicely and neatly, working my way back. I think I've got one more after this, and then we'll do the base color. I've got the prepared here. I haven't mixed it together. I didn't want it to process until I am ready for it. Leaving that end out again. That way we keep these ends healthy. Last one right here. Last one right here, and we're going to put them the other color, and this all cooks together. Here we go, last section. Move the little tips out of the way, fold it up, and there we go. Now, we've got that all taken care of, and now we are going to put on her base color. We use this all nutrient organic hair color, and it gives the hair super shine and body. Doesn't dry the hair, it's almost moisturizing. They have an oil that you can add to it that really is like an oil treatment when you get your color done. So that leaves the hair just super healthy. Now, gotta have a glove on for this. And we're gonna paint in between. I always like to start on the top because starting on the top, you can easily see where you need to apply it at, and you just work your way down. I'm working on the roots first. Lifting that out of the way and brushing it on right where it needs it. I'm going to fold this back and brush this right on the root here in between. I like doing the foils first. Some people, you can do it however you want. This way I feel like you have a little more control. You have a head start on the highlights, which is really important because we know we want those lighter. And the less heat on the hair, the better. So I'll be able to do this without any heat on Terry. Her hair will lighten so easy without putting her under the dryer because we've had a head start here, at least 20 minutes lightening. So I have, you can put them under the dryer to speed it up, but it's just not necessary for hers. And the less heat, the better. Working my way right in between there, covering that well, flipping this out. How we're doing, we've only done 15 minutes so far, pretty good. Working right away. This hair color covers resistant gray really nicely, just really gives great coverage. Really saturate it well. I like to really put it on good and cover every hair. And then we go to this side. Even having the silver foils in your hair, Terry, you see how blue your eyes are. They like sparkle with the foil. You are a blonde, definitely. Now, working my way right down. I've got the front covered where she's the whitest at. We want a little head start on that. So we started there first. And I will work my way right to the back. Now we're going to turn her just a little bit this way, and you can see what I've got going on here. I started right here in this one. Now I've got the crown. Brushing it on, brushing all of this on, and really coating that new growth. This medium cool blonde is very nice. It gives such a really, just such a good coverage, and it's a true color. This is going to be a true medium ash blonde. And you can see her growth. She's got a little bit of growth, and Terry said she put a box color on here last time, and you know, it probably has faded. It has a little more brassiness to it. Not a lot. So this will work well on it. There's not a lot of red in here we're fighting, so this is easy reapplying. Even with 20 volume here, this will be good. Working my way down, you can see where I'm at here now. This was 3 ounces of color I mixed. I wanted to make sure I didn't run out because I knew I want to work some of this through the ends. Working my way right down, you can see I'm to her neckline here, the nape. So we've got this covered. Yes. Working our way right down. Now, we are going to start timing. We're going to do 20 minutes. I'm going to apply some of this to these ends. I'm going to work it out just a little further, just on this area that needs it. You can tell in this front, I almost had more faded ends, that top layer. But I'm going to pull just a little, just as I'm checking, as I'm going down here, I'm going to brush just a little bit more through. Because a lot of this is going to come off here. I know this is going to be cut. And this is a good way to just fold those foils down and double check. Make sure you got everything covered. This area here, I know I want this one in the crown a little darker. Let's work that through. So that will be subtle. Pulling some more through, and it's this top layer that always needs a little extra low light in it. This way it'll be subtle. This is the color I'm using on the roots. And covering some of these faded solid ends. Now, what we're going to do now is throw her back around here. You can see I've got everything covered. We're going to be back in a few minutes. You'll get to see Terry shampooed and ready to cut here in a few minutes. We will be right back.
Yeah, that works great.
Or not. Okay. No, it's not stopping. Okay. We're back, and I've got Terry's color done. And you're going to get to see the finished look here in a minute. What I'm going to do first is we're going to cut her hair. And what I want to do is twirl you to the side here, Terry, and get this camera a little closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a nice solid shape. And I mean a one-length bob shape. Now, we want her bob swinging slightly forward. I'm not going to make it extreme. I want it the same length all the way around with a little of this just slanted forward here, just to retain all of this length in front of the ear. We don't want to give her layering on the side. I do want to bring this up right under the jaw here, right here at the neck. So you see how much is going to come off, but the majority of that hair is going to come off of this back. I'm going to converge everything at once and cut it, and I'm actually going to use the razor to do this. We have the sharktooth razor, which is a great cutting tool. It's got a double-edged blade in it, and what's nice about this razor, you have a little control over it by, you can take less hair or a lot of hair with it. Let me show it to you really quick here. It's our sharktooth razor. And what's nice is you unscrew this with a dime, and this comes off, and you have a double-edged blade that you buy in the drugstore. So you don't have to buy special blades for this, which is really nice. You can get them in the drugstore or grocery store. This side that has the deeper grooves takes off more hair. It cuts more hair. The other side isn't as deep, and it takes less hair. So you have control over how much hair you want to cut off. In order to cut Terry's hair in this bob shape, I'm going to do it in one cut here. And I like to do it this way because when you converge all of this hair into one section, into a stationary guide, you cut everything at once. I like doing it this way because it's really precise for me. It allows me to keep every bit of this front hair on the sides and not cut that off too short, because this is a modern look to have this hair swinging forward. When you start having the shorter hair in the front swinging to the back, that tends to be a little more vintage 70s. It can look a little more, not matronly, but not as modern. This is a much more modern shape. And having this bob shape in Terry's hair is going to be very flattering on her shaped face and with the texture of her hair. It's going to really multiply her hair. Where her hair is baby fine to the sides, it's going to look thicker. Where it's really thick and heavy in the back, it's going to look lighter, not so much weight in the back. So what I do first is converge everything to the back. We know that her hair parts and falls to the side naturally, but we're going to take and bring everything to the very bottom. I've got a new blade in here. I just put a new razor blade in here, and I know that I want to keep this length hanging right here. I'm going to show you because this is going to be my guide. I know this hair right here, I want no shorter than here. Can you see that? That's barely hitting the neck. That'll be under the jaw and right under the chin. So knowing that, I know when this hair is converged to the back, that's where I'm going to cut her ponytail off. Tilt your head down just a little bit, and by combing everything back, you see this is converging and combing everything back. It's going to keep every bit of that length because I'm over-directing and pulling it to the back. You can see these streaks in here are going to be fabulous. I've got it darker on the underneath and some darker blonde going through those highlights. Now I've converged everything to the bottom. I've got a nice neat ponytail combed in. I've got this ponytail very flat to the head here. Bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down to here. You see this is almost a good measuring stick right where her necklace is at, is where that hair is going to come off. I converge everything, and look at here. I'm holding this ponytail tight, and I'm just razoring down, cutting through the ponytail, cutting through the ponytail. What this is doing is it's removing all this hair at once and fringing the ends. And what will happen when I dry Terry's hair, I will check this cut and see what needs any little tweaking, any little cleaning up on this neckline. You can see holding it low at the neck, it creates some graduation very, very low. You can see that has taken that completely off. Look at that. Now, what that's done, hold your head up slightly for me, Terry. Now she's got her head upright. And already we've got the shape in here that has cut the neckline on the bottom shorter. It's retained every bit of her sides and then some, because now this is our insurance policy. I know when I brought this back and cut this off, it wasn't going to take any of that hair off that front, or just the amount that I wanted to. Now you can see, let me twirl her around so you can see this neckline where I cut this off. Oh, Terry, this is going to be fabulous on you. It gave this a really sharper line here. It took off the excess that needed to come off. Now I've combed this down in her natural fall. This is the natural fall. I've got this combed very flat, almost as if this is how it would fall naturally, all the way around. You can see how that's retained every bit of that front and removed just what I wanted to. It's given it a nice shape. So now what I do is this little bit of hair here. I'm going to take my razor and clean it up. And by cleaning that up, I'm going to define this little weight line or this line. I can almost see where I cut there, and this is the underneath. Take it right off. You can take and use the tip of this razor and remove that hair. She's got her head straight up for me. Let's move her a little closer here. I can pump you up a little bit and we can see better. Oh yes. I'm taking the little tip of my razor, pulling this down, and taking off that little excess there that needs it. You can see I've cut the line in there when I took that ponytail off. Now by combing that flat, I just want to take those little edges that are coming off the very first layer. Right here you can see just where that has really just needs to be shaped a little bit more. And all of this is done just in one cut. Now I know this hair has to travel a little further on this side part. So we're going to check this front now. And after I dry, Terry, we'll see the shape and you'll really see this smooth. I've got that over a little further, which is nicer. So this hair has to travel a little further, and we definitely want this side slightly longer just because that's the natural fall. Now that we've got this in that natural shape we want, what I do want to do is, you can see right from the side here, I want this to look a little thicker on the side. So we're going to bring this back, converge this right here so you can see what I'm doing right here. Get a little closer and take that little piece off. That's our insurance. That keeps us from cutting it too short when that hair is brought all the way back. Now, when that falls this way, that little corner will look much thicker. Much thicker. We'll do the same thing on this side. Cutting this little bit off, I say a little bit, it was about 5 inches off the very middle of the back of your head, but it made the rest of this look longer. So now we want to take just this little corner off, and you can see the little wispiness there. I'm bringing that to the back. Right there, you can see that little hunk. It's not much. It's very blonde and just a little too ragged. Now, what that's really done, as you see from the front, it's made this look so much thicker. Now, we get a better hanging length. This haircut's going to really be much more dramatic on Terry. It's going to give her a stronger line on the bottom. What's going to really be nice is whether she wears her hair curly or smooth, it's just going to have more of a defined shape on the bottom. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of mousse in your hair, Terry. I have this great sea silk foam. It's our hair artist, hair to wear product. It's an organic mousse, and it has medium hold to it. You can see it's a nice light foam. It's got a great fragrance. And where I really want to put this at is at your hairline around the face. We want a little more lift in there than anywhere, and especially right here at your hairline in the front. Work that mousse through in little bits, getting it at the root more than anywhere. Now we're going to dry it in the hair. Getting it in that scalp there, we're getting it at the roots where we want that extra lift. Now we're going to blow it dry. And you'll get to see this cut. I'm not going to cut anything on Terry. I'm just going to dry her, and then when we get this really smooth, we'll check the haircut. Just let you dim a little bit. Yeah. Your hair looks fabulous like this. Looks fabulous. Oh, what a great change on LinkedIn. Look how that just rearranged your hair. It made the front of your hair look so super thick and just hitting you just at the right length. And that's just with the brush. I've dried it with that biggest brush and a little bit of that sea silk foam in there. And I just want to twirl you around so you can see how that's just, now I'm going to flat iron her. I haven't even flat ironed Terry yet, but you can see the shape is in there. That was literally one cut I did with that razor, and I just converging it to the back and cutting it in the middle. It leaves every bit of your length where you want it at, and it's like instant shape in there. So you don't have to section tiny little pieces and just cut. There is easier ways to do it. My way that I just showed you here, I could still easily section her off and cut her section by section, but this was quicker and easier and almost more precise, using it as cutting it in one section. Now, when you smooth this hair out and get this fullness out of the ends, what's nice is the round brush gave it the body at the roots, but I want these ends a little straighter just so we can check this hanging length, and I want to see this neckline where I have only cut it just when it was wet. So now that I'm getting it dried and flat ironed, I'll be able to check this neckline and see if there's anything back here I want to tweak. See, let me get some of this out of the way, and I'll be able to show you where I cut that with the shark tooth, and I just basically razored off her ponytail low, very low. I held it low to the neck, so you still have some graduation, but it's so very low. And this will be the real test right here, as when you smooth out these edges and see any ragged little pieces that need to be cut. It's going to be very little. Very little, because when you compress this, when you converge these edges and take this fullness out, you see any little flaw in the haircut. I've got that top out of the way. You can see where the razor left it soft on the ends, not so blunt where that hair has no movement. You're going to see it's going to be very little to clean up, and I will use it with my I'll use my small shears to point cut that off. I don't want to go in with the shears and take off my nice little graduated, these little fringy edges that I put in there with the razor. I just want to clean up that little neckline where she's got a few pieces hanging out. It's not a lot. Yeah, look at this right here. It's going to be such a tiny amount. And what's nice about these little shears I have here is that's what they are for. It's ideal for this tiny, minute little edges that you want to cut a little hair, because what's nice is the point of these shears are tiny. So when you point cut with them, it doesn't leave a big mark. It leaves just tiny little cuts. You see these tiny little shears? They're ideal for this type of finishing and little tweaking here. Let me pump Terry up a little bit more. Terry, tilt your head way down for me, hon. That's perfect. Maybe not quite that much. That's good. But you can see this little bit hanging out here. I'm going to tweak that with these shears. Sharp tail. Here's the sharp hair. But just right on her neck. Just on her neckline. Just that tiniest little bit of hair that was hanging out. It wasn't a lot. Just that, almost her cowlick on her underneath there. Such that little edge right there. It's not a lot, but I'm being really picky because that's going to make all the difference when her hair grows out. Hold your head up just a little bit for me, Terry. Same thing right here. I'm going to converge that and take just a tad bit more off of that. Just so that doesn't look too wimpy right there. We want that to look like a little thicker fringe. You can see what that just did. And the same thing on this side here. Let's check this side here. It's just such a little amount there. I'm just taking it off with my little shears here, just so it's a little thicker fringe on those ends. Still keeping this side long. Oh, now that's nice and clean on the ends. And look at this blonde. You see how super shiny her blonde is. Just really revived the hair where she needed it at. She needs fuller hair at these roots and not so full on the bottom. Now, that's just from flat ironing that hair, and you see how silky, shiny, and just volume where she needed it at. After taking the hair, that was almost 6 inches I took off the back, but it really left the sides, left the sides longer and fuller where she needed it at. Now, let's check it out here, because what I want to do is I want you to see it without this smock on. And see what a pretty neckline this is on her, especially without that on her. What a nice change. Let's check this out a little closer. Let's get a little closer because I want to get a good look at you here. After taking that color, you can see how she's got really great streaks around the face. And then through this neckline, you can see as I was cutting it how much darker, just having that underneath, not so blonde. Let's take another little look at this because I want you to see this color. She's got such good contrast in here. And look, after taking off that ponytail and seeing that hair cut with that razor, you would never know this was cut with the razor. You can still get a nice blunt edge on there, but now you've got movement on the ends. You don't have a droopy bob. No droopy bob here. And having that length on those sides, you really see the color of it. Now, I really enjoyed using you for a model today, Terry. You had such a nice change, and it's so obvious that shorter hair can be just as sexy as longer hair. Having the volume where you need it at, and being modern is what makes women beautiful. You want to have that feeling, and it comes from within, and it comes from your hair. I'm sorry, hair does make you or break you. So it's the only thing you can not change every day. I mean, you have to wear your hair every day, so you want it to look good no matter what you're wearing. Terry, I really enjoy using you for a model today.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed it. Let's take another little look. Swing that hair around a little bit. You can see what great body it has. It just really changed the shape of your hair without cutting all your hair off. Your hair almost looks longer. It's just youthful. Thank you so much. Enjoyed it, and come back and see us again. Watch our videos again. Thanks. Now, we're going to do a little video for the spray and play. I'm just going to show you a little technique on how to use our spray and play to get some volume and curl in the hair. Terry's little one-length bob here has just been freshly shampooed and blown dry. Used a little bit of our mousse in there for some volume. But I want to show you the spray and play. We have this fabulous fast-drying hairspray that has great hold. The best thing about it is it doesn't feel sticky, or it doesn't weight the hair down, or it doesn't flake off or build up on the hair. You can spray a lot of it. You can spray a little bit of it, but the best thing is it's a workable spray. As you spray the hair, you can really fluff and give the hair volume just with the hands. The hair is for high humidity too, that hairspray is. So it's ideal for any kind of humidity. It will give the hair great hold. I've sprayed the top layer of the hair in just a little bit, and I'm going to do a little bit of curling, show you how easily that the spray and play can use to give this hair body and volume. It gives it a nice firm curl without being stiff or tangly or hard to comb through. And just using big sections after I've sprayed it with that spraying plate gives it just a nice firm curl. I'm basically curling the middle of the strand. I'm not curling the roots and I'm not curling the ends. I'm just giving this hair some tousled body. Now I'm just going to work my way around. I'm picking up the top section, big pieces. The bigger the pieces, then the bigger the curl. And you don't want to have this too perfect. You want to have this look like natural wave or just tousled curl in the hair. So having this hair all one length, even though we have this hair blunt in one length, you can still have a layered look because adding the curl in there really changes the movement in the hair. And the spray and play really does not dry stiff or tangly. It's very workable. So it leaves the hair very healthy and shiny. The best thing about it is it's water soluble. It doesn't build up on the hair. It doesn't dull the hair. I could literally spray this whole can of spray on Terry and her hair would still be shiny. It's not rough or hard on it at all. And you see what kind of curl it gives. It really can give you good definition. What I think I like about it the best is you can brush this all out, spray more, and you would never know that her hair had been sprayed that much because it really does is easy on the hair. I'm just taking my flat iron and giving her some waves and some loose curls just to show you how easy this spray is to work with. Once I've gotten all of this in here, then I'll just toss her hair around, not use my hands or a brush in that. We want to leave this hair piecey, and then I'll add a little Max Wax. And what the Max Wax does is it's for separation and hold. It makes that hair very piecey, and it holds the shape without holding a lot of gel or a lot of spray in the hair. It's just what's nice about our products is you can layer the products. I've used the mousse on her hair, damp, and dried it in the hair, which left the hair lots of volume and super shine. Then I've used the spray and play to help set the curl, and then I'll use my Max Wax to finish the look. I could easily spray or spray on the curl, but I wanted to use that wax to not only make it look a little more modern, but by separating the curls and making them piecier and not stiff looking. We want the hair to move. We want it to look shiny and just touchable. So that's what's nice about using the Max Wax, because you can use it for hold, but it helps separate and make the hair piecey. And so many of these looks that you see in the magazines, they've used a wax or a pomade on the hair to really help separate. Because when you use a lot of spray, then the hair will tend to look set or fixed. Not with our spray though, because our spray is very workable. I'm going to go right back here. I'm going to do a little bit more right in the front where I want a little bit more movement in that. But what it does is it gives you just that loose, very modern, very textured, piecey curl. And especially after using the mousse in her hair first, so it helped give it that volume at the roots, and then using the spray on these ends gives the curl nice firm ends. And I think that's what makes this look a little more modern. I haven't curled the entire strand. I've left the end out a little looser. So, I mean, if you use a curling iron, you can get the same effect, but then, even then, it tends to look all the same. You can just adjust the size or the amount of curl when you use a flat iron, because then you want them not so perfect. Now that I've got that in there, let me just shake it a little bit. Just shake it a little bit, because then you don't want to disturb the curls too much, but yet you want to keep that little volume in there and keep some fullness to it. Now that's a completely different look. It almost gives the effect of layered hair and almost having that just lots of volume, and just, it can be very sexy. You can see how that see how touchable her hair is. It didn't leave the hair stiff or dry feeling, and she's got super shine still in it. Now, for the finish, I'm going to put a little bit of the Max Wax on it. And this is our pomade I was talking about. You see it's kind of a thick wax, and this is what gives that hold and separation. It takes that much, literally, just a dab. I spread it on the hands really good, get it on the palm of your fingertips, and then you just blot it in here. And what it does is it just is added. If you don't get it messy enough with the spray, add this in here, then you really get that separation. And if you watch me, I'm doing it just on these ends. You don't want that at the scalp because it is heavier, and on finer hair, it'll make it limp, or it'll just be too much. Where you really want it at is on the edges or the ends. This is ideal really for any texture hair. This Max Wax is ideal for men's hair. Anytime you want to have some of that pieceiness and that separation, that's what this Max Wax does. What a great look that is. Thanks, Terry. I enjoyed using you for a model today. All right.